The months just rolled and we kept thinking it was going to be okay. We sold every bit of furniture we could. My son had nothing in his bedroom but a mattress. We had nothing in our bedroom but a mattress. We just made sure that Sonny had food.
Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV. And as you can see, once again, we're on the sofa. And who are we on the sofa with? We're on the sofa with Loretta from Perfectly Popped Balloons. Yay! Hello.
Hello.
Obviously, we filmed a couple of shows already.
We did.
People might not know that. You might not have seen those yet. But we've got to do a sofa show because I want to find out more about you. I want to find out all about your story, how you got into the industry, and where you're at in the industry now, what you want in the future, and all of that. Mm-hmm. So, one of my favourite interview questions, probably my favourite interview question when I'm interviewing for somebody to join the team is, tell me about you. So, works pretty well on the sofa as well. Tell me about you. Okay.
I am one of those people that puts everybody first. When I go into a room or when I have a training day, I like people to leave feeling better than when they walked in.
Okay.
So, and I am like an advocate for kindness and making kindness cool.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
Okay, cool. So why are you that way?
Because of many things. If you want to go deep, probably because I was bullied at school and I knew from then that I would never make someone feel that way.
All right, okay.
So I think that built my character immediately, just having that feeling of, wow, I'm not going to be that person that makes somebody feel like that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So that's probably why I'm like this.
Okay.
Because I care about how people feel. Yeah. And I felt so bad being bullied that I was like, I'm not going to be responsible for making someone feel that way.
Okay.
So I go out of my way to make people feel good, to make people feel something special. Okay. So that's how that started. That's why I'm like that.
That's really interesting. And I think that might help with some context as we go through our chat. Yeah. Before we go deeper and come back to that side of you, first of all, let's briefly tell everybody about your business, how long you've been in business, and what you're doing now. So you mentioned when you have people come for your training. Yes. So explain to people what Perfectly Popped Balloons is.
Okay, so Perfectly Popped Balloons to me is, I don't know if this is going to sound super weird, but it's not just about balloons.
Okay.
I feel like I'm building something more than that. But that's probably only been the last year or so, or just over a year now. So when I first got into it, which we'll talk about why, but when I first got into it, it was very much like a creative thing for me and an outlet and a way to earn money, because I needed to earn money. And after that, because I had a passion and I had a vision of what I wanted to be doing, and that's all I cared about, it got bigger and bigger, which then led me to like, do you want to do training? And I was like, oh my God, no, I don't want to do training. That scared me. It wasn't ever in the picture, it wasn't in the dream. And then I was like, okay, let's try it. In fact, it was Balloon Occasions that I have to thank for putting my name forward for a training.
All right, okay.
Because it was them that was like, oh, Loretta does the best like premium bouquets or stacks that we've seen. And it was them that I have a big thanks to for getting me sort of putting my name forward, really, to say Loretta will be good at that.
All right, cool.
And and then from then I got into training. But then the training is where I've really found myself, and I found my people, and I found my purpose of what I'm doing in life. And yes, the balloons are amazing, but there's also another element that I'm bringing into it, and I feel like it's more than balloons.
So you've not done any training in your previous work life?
I was a celebrity nail technician before I...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Before I ran my own business, doing nails, working with celebrities, doing all these amazing things. And then I got really unwell, really ill. I've got terrible ill health, or did have. I manifest that I have the best health. And yeah, I had terrible health, and I had to give up my job.
Okay.
And then 2 years of treatment, and 2 years later, this happened.
Okay.
So 3 years I've been in business now.
Yeah, yeah. So go on, tell me the story.
Okay, so it was before lockdown.
Yeah.
Dan, my other half, husband, whatever you want to, however we call him, Dan, you've met him.
Is he your husband?
No, but we've been together like 20 years now. I have a ring. I have his surname because I changed it via Décor when I had my son.
Right, okay.
So we're a family.
How old's your son?
He's 9.
What's his name?
Sonny.
Sonny. Hi, Sonny.
He'll love that. He already thinks, like, when I did the live with you, he's like, Mummy's famous. So funny. Yeah, he's very proud, very proud. But yeah, we're already like a family because I changed my name by Depot and we have a mortgage, we've got a house.
Yeah.
You know, we're done.
You're family.
We're
yeah.
family. I'm going to save our money. Don't need to get married. Okay. As much as it would be lovely, but we're good. Dan was in work and then like he has this job for 15 years and then the industry dried up and everyone was out of work. The contract all went a bit funny because he's a contractor. It was all around lots of things happening with Brexit and all that, I think. All of that was happening at the time and yeah, it all just dried up because of money. And he was out of work and we thought, oh, that's okay. He'll be out of work like a couple of months, but then a couple of months turned into 6 months and then 6 months turned into 10 months and then it was a year. Then it was like, oh my goodness.
And you were still doing the nails at this time?
No, before Dan was out of work, I gave my job up. So we bought our home, right? We bought our first home before I turned 30. Bought our first home. It's an amazing house for our first house. We were like so chuffed, so happy. Beautiful place we live in. Got that. I think we was only living there 2 years or just under. I'm not very good with remembering the dates. So we've had this conversation because it's all a bit of a blur. But we were paying. We were just getting into the flow of things of having a mortgage, and then I got ill. Gave up my job, the nails, and had 2 years of treatment.
Okay.
Right at the beginning of us getting our home. So Dan was covering everything. This is why it's a bit of a blur because I was really ill. So anyway, I had 2 years of treatment and I had to stop my treatment before I was properly finished because Dan was out of work. Now what do? We have no money coming in and there was only so much we had to fall back on. There's only so much we had in the pot. We had a child, 2 big dogs, 2 Labradors we had at the time. Big mortgage to pay that we could afford. That's why we got the mortgage.
Yeah.
The months just rolled and we kept thinking it was going to be okay. In the end, we're living in this lovely house with nothing in it. We sold every bit of furniture we could. My son had nothing in his bedroom but a mattress. We had nothing in our bedroom but a mattress. We got rid of our car. We couldn't put food on the table, so we went days and days without eating dinners or anything really. We just made sure that Sonny had food. The dogs had to share food, and then we was thinking we're going to have to get rid of the dogs because it's not fair, they're not eating properly. And then a friend of ours was giving us food for the dogs, and then I had another friend of mine that showed kindness. Another thing that really was a big thing in my life was how she showed kindness and bought us literally a whole week's worth of shopping because we had no money. Where was we possibly buying food from? So we wasn't eating.
So you were literally, when you say you had no money, you literally
had no money.
Had no money.
Yeah.
Because that's quite unusual for people. People say, "Oh, I've got no money," but they've got money or they've got a job or whatever.
Yeah, I really hate it when people say that.
But you literally had
no
no
money.
Furniture.
Nothing.
You were sleeping on mattresses on the floor.
Not eating.
You were not eating yourself so you could feed your son and the dogs.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And then this was all around the time that lockdown happened. It was just so happened that happened at the same time. It wasn't because of lockdown that this happened to us or because of COVID. It was before that. So then Dan just got back in work and done a month's work. The lockdown happened, so we only had a month's wages. So during lockdown, it was like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? And then we were thinking, actually, has this saved us? Because then they were doing that help for the mortgage, weren't they? Where we got 6 months.
Oh, I can't remember.
Do you remember that thing where they were doing the 6 months help with the mortgage thing? We put it off for a long time because, they're helping you for that period of time, but it still goes on at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
So what we were doing, we had some money and we were paying the mortgage with that money, but we got rid of everything we didn't need. So we didn't need Sky, we didn't need internet, we didn't need these things, all those things that are a luxury.
Yeah, yeah.
Got rid of them. I remember we got rid of my phone bill. I was like, we'll just go down to like a pay-as-you-go £10 a month thing. Everything we could save on, we did.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I didn't want to cut back on any of Sonny's clubs. I was like, I just can't have this affect his life. So my mum paid for them, but I knew that my mum couldn't afford, with her life and what she pays for, her home, that she couldn't afford to pay for us to stay in our home as well. So it was a big thing that we didn't really have anyone that could go, it's okay, we'll give you the money for the mortgage every month. So it's a big house, it was a big mortgage. It's a big commitment, isn't it? So anyway, it just got worse and worse and worse. We sold everything. I was selling stuff left, right and centre on Spock. Do you remember Spock?
Yeah.
Left, right and centre on there. I was selling everything I could just to get some money to feed us. It was never going to be enough money to pay the mortgage, but it was going to be enough money to put some food on the table, right? So beans on toast and cheap stuff. So that's what we did for a long time. We ended up living in that situation for what feels like just under 2 years. So it was a long time.
Wow.
Within that time, we had to pay our mortgage and we kept thinking it was going to be over. And it's funny how we think about it now. We feel so differently about it now, but when you're living in it, it's never happened to you before. You live in a little bit of a bury your head in the sand situation. So Dan was like, okay, well, he was selling work stuff because his work equipment's very expensive and that might have got us £1,000 to put on the mortgage. Then we had like a situation where it was like, well, we're just going to have to go to credit cards now. Well, by the end of it, we were just in loads of debt and losing our house. Then the really, really bad thing that was happening in between all that time is Dan's dad got cancer and we were dealing with him having cancer, esophagus cancer. He had the operation, had the esophagus removed, all that, all whilst we were going through this and we were like, oh my God. Absolutely horrible timing anyway, but timing that Dan had this stress of his dad dying and losing his home all at the same time.
Wow.
And it was like, oh my goodness, you'd think that could break a relationship as well, but it didn't, obviously. Then Dan's dad was dying. We were watching him die over Zoom because we couldn't go and see him. And he gave us his last pennies, basically. And that last month, this is the bit where usually I cry, that I cry on the podcast about this bit. He gave us that last bit of money to pay our mortgage. That month was literally the saving month for us. He done that. He gave us one more month in that house because then I decided to start this business. And I was just sitting there going, I've got nothing to lose right now. We need to do something. I'm going to start business. I wasn't exactly very well. Dan's dad, we've lost Dan's dad. We're losing our house. What the hell? And I decided to start this business and cutting all of the in-between bits out and how hard I've worked, I paid off £100,000 worth of debt in 2 years.
Wow.
And now here we are. We are personally debt-free. Dan's back in work. And we're just trying to get back on our feet and be happy again.
Yeah.
But and I just really hope that Dan's dad's watching us and knows that he had like that a part of that on that last month. Cause
so if he hadn't have paid that last month, you might have lost the house. You might not have decided.
Could have been a different story.
Yeah. So why balloons? How did you choose balloons to save you? Which effectively they've done.
I know, yeah, which is crazy. And I never wanted to do balloons. I was on my phone, sitting in the lounge with nothing in it. We had the TV left, couldn't get rid of that for our child's sake, sanity. We had the TV left and I was on my phone and I was like, oh, I actually do think a friend might have messaged me something saying, I've seen this balloon course, you'd be good at that. I'm pretty sure something like that happened, but I saw something come up from Bexley Confetti and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And it was, I can't remember how much at the time, £300? Didn't have £300, stuck it on a credit card, didn't I?
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And I did it in lockdown through Zoom. And from that day, I just got the bug and said, I'm going to do this. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it. Don't worry, I'm going to save us. It's all good. We got this.
Yeah.
And I've worked every hour under the sun and shed every tear possible. But I knew the end goal. I knew the end goal was to save us.
Yeah.
Even if I saved us and Dan got back in work and then I stopped doing it altogether and just sat down and went,
that's amazing.
I did it. I'm so proud of us.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing. That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
And it's a story that not many people have been in that situation quite to
sad.
that extent.
Yeah.
And for you, I think I always say things happen for a reason, and you can call it whatever you like. I don't know if you believe in religion, if you believe in fate, if you believe in whatever. But things happen.
Yeah.
And it's meeting you. It's you're probably one of the most positive, happy people I've ever met.
Yeah,
and
I wasn't.
Yeah, I know, but you've experienced that.
Yeah.
But what was it like when you were in the depths? I mean, what was your inner voice saying to you?
I think I find it very, very hard to go back there because I think I have this coping mechanism that I blur things out. So I can't remember dates or any finer details I really struggle with. I just remember the bigger stuff. So I don't know if I could give you a true, honest feeling of how I felt in that time, but I can tell you how I felt since.
Yeah.
And that is, I was happy. I got out of the situation when I paid the debt. So this is what happened. I worked and I had a goal, right? And I knew, don't stop. Every single penny I earned, debt. I was paying thousands off a month on the debt.
So you still weren't going out buying stuff
No.
for you? This was literally to clear the debt?
Yeah, I did nothing. We've still not had our holiday. We still haven't, to this day, had our family holiday. That is my next goal. It's my dream. I've still got so many things I want to do to make us happy and repay us for everything that we went through in a way. But I definitely suffered this, again, I don't want to sound dramatic, but I have no other way of explaining it, but I definitely suffered when I paid that debt off. I thought I was going to feel something. I felt nothing, and then I spiraled, and I do believe I was suffering like a PTSD.
Yeah.
And I don't even, like, no disrespect to people that genuinely have suffered with it, but I honestly feel like it was a PTSD because I didn't know how to feel or be, or I was depressed because I had no goal anymore, and I was out of the situation, but I didn't deal with the situation when I was in it. I was burying my head in the sand, and we were losing Dan's dad, and it was all too much. And I coped. He coped. I coped. And then it was after it was out of the situation that I got hit with it, and I was like, oh, I think something's wrong with me. And I went to a couple of people and said, something's wrong with me. I'm very vocal. I don't keep it to myself. I said, I think I'm depressed, but I feel really bad saying I'm depressed because what the hell have I got to be depressed about? And I should have really been saying that when I was going through what I went through. But then I got very, very ill. And I went to Spring Fair, funny enough. Went to Spring Fair, shouldn't have been there. I was really ill. And then the next day or 2 days later, I was in hospital. And I was really unwell in hospital. And stayed in there for a little while. And then when I came out of hospital, I had to work on my mental health. And I did that, and I'm much better now.
How did you work on it?
I got help. I surrounded myself by the right people. I took a breather. I almost did like take your shoes off and put your feet in the put your bare feet in the grass. I grounded myself, and I practiced gratitude. And I realised what I had and how far we've come and what I did, and that I did that.
Yeah.
And I think that that was what I was probably struggling with the most, that we went through that and that I did that. And yeah, I think it just triggered a little bit of a mental health issue for me for a little while. And I think as well, because I put everyone before myself, I was doing my coaching, I was coaching everybody and I was being the best coach I could be for them, but I wasn't being anything for myself. And then I was ill, really ill.
Yeah.
Yeah, lost half my blood count and had to have transfusions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you think that was all brought about
Stress.
by the stress of the situation?
Yeah. Yeah, just from going, oh, that happened.
And how are you now?
Yeah, better. Much better, thank you. My health has never been 100%. I'm okay, I live with that. So I have ME, so I manage it. I'm very acceptant of my health, but I also know as I've grown older and as I grow up and as I experience these things in life to really squeeze the good parts out of everything so that I can be more fulfilled in life.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing is just to be a good person and to make kindness the most important thing. And that's why my business coaching is more than business coaching.
Yeah.
It's like business therapy. It's like life coaching. It's everything. Like I've helped people with more than their balloons.
Yeah.
And you'll see that with the testimonials that I get. And I have so much joy helping someone with their life because there isn't really anything I've not been through that I can't help them with.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I love about it.
So you're quite open, telling people what
Yes.
it is you've been through.
100%.
And you, that must really get people to recognise what you were saying, gratitude. They do say that no matter what situation you're in, there's always somebody worse off. And there would have been people worse off than you, wouldn't there?
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, you still
Homeless.
had the house, exactly. So
Homeless. Yeah.
And
It was just bad for me.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
bad for people in that situation. It's always bad for them. But there are people, no matter where you are, that are worse off. And I think if you're demonstrating that to people that have their own problems, then they might help with just perspective and help them see that you can get through it. And yeah.
Definitely.
That's an amazing story.
Thank you.
And that
It is.
balloons and business has done that.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that you've gone on and you've become very successful within our little industry, haven't you?
Thank you.
So what's next?
Oh, I am one of those people that don't say what's next, just watch.
No, okay. So do you know what's next?
Yes and no. I don't like to talk about things until they've happened.
Okay.
And like let just stay quiet and let everything else do the talking.
Yeah.
I'm that person when it comes to that question.
Yeah.
I've got plans.
Okay.
But for now, I want to just continue making my business coaching bigger and better.
Yeah.
And keep attracting amazing people in.
Yeah.
Because the space that I've created, how do I explain it? So I was bullied at school, so a group of women, for me, is my worst nightmare. Just,
Yeah.
just catty, no. But I said to myself, no, that it has to be different. There's got to be other people like you out there. I'm not like that. There's got to be other people like that. So I just put myself on this mission of making something different and finding those people and then having those people come in and go, oh my goodness, I was scared to join because of being a group of women, but it's the best thing they've ever done.
Yeah.
And none of them want to leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're all best friends. Like I've got women that work in the same town that have become friends.
Yeah.
That is what I love.
Yeah.
You're not each other's competition.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible.
Yeah.
And they're kind because I'm teaching them that that's the best way to be.
Yeah. So do you have a group WhatsApp or a private group for everybody.
Yeah.
And they support each other.
Yeah.
And all of that.
Yeah. The group only exists on WhatsApp if they come through the business coaching program. So it's kind of like you don't get put in there until you've been through it.
Yeah.
You know, so then you go into the...
So you don't have an academy. We were talking about this
No.
earlier on. You don't have an academy or an online training school, if you
No.
like. You've got your videos on your website. You can buy
Yeah.
the videos and keep
Yeah.
those, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But you were saying you want the people that are part of this group to have gone through your coaching
Yes.
and experienced and almost be the right kind of people. But I guess you're attracting
100%.
the right
Yeah.
kind of people
You're right.
with what you're offering.
Yeah, because I've got my training videos. If you want to learn my technique and you want to come to me, I just want to learn balloons, great. You've got the website, buy them, brilliant. You log into the website, you watch the videos as many times as you want. It's lifetime access, they're yours.
Yeah.
And then you've got the business coaching program, the mastermind, and they have to apply.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing where I ask lots of questions and they apply. It's like an application form for like an interview.
Excellent.
And then I build a relationship with them and then they come in. Not one of the girls, and I say girls because I haven't had a man come through yet, okay?
Right.
I'd love to have a male come through. I've had men at my training days, and they have been incredible at balloons. And I would love to have a male come through the mastermind, but I haven't yet. It's all women. But not one of them have I not got a friendship with. So I can't explain the things I do for them. They'd have to tell you. But I go out of my way. If they've invested in me, you're going to get everything you could wish for out of me and more, because I want to make them better people. And what I teach them is a reflection of me. And I know I could send them off out into the mingling with other balloon things or go to balloon days and know they're going to have nothing but good to say about the community that I've built. You know, and be proud. That's what I'm so proud of. But yes, application only for the mastermind. Then when you come through the mastermind, you can come into the society, but the society is not open to just anybody. You've all got to gel and fit and support each other. And if someone comes in and asks a question, you know everyone is going to answer you, and you know everyone on first term basis. There's not no one in the group that is just watching. Everyone contributes. You know, and that's what I love. And
sounds like the perfect WhatsApp group, really.
And I will have it no other way. And I go in there and I give off my energy to them every day. And I will go in and I'll be like their biggest cheerleader.
So what do you do? Is it all messages? Do you do videos?
I do voice notes.
Do you do voice
I
notes?
will, like today, for example, I got in there and sent them the video of the vision board. So I made this video and said, girls, get ready for next year. You've got to get your vision board, because I do believe in the vision board, because funny enough, I've done one and lots of that have come true this year and more. I've done so much this year to overcome my mental health. I thought I'd never get on a plane again with how bad I felt. And I went to Belgium and done a sold out course. And it's the biggest step I could have took, because I got so bad with my health that I just didn't want to go anywhere and do anything. And I went and done a big sold out course in Belgium.
So when you do your courses, do you talk about any of this stuff, any of the support, or is that purely for your coaching clients, if you like?
What do you mean? Do I talk about...
Do you talk about beyond whatever you're creating?
Yes.
Do you talk about you?
Everything.
And talk about how it affects you and how you ended up being in the business and all of that sort of stuff?
Yeah, so in Belgium, funny enough, we were just waiting for the last few people to come, and there was like loads. It was my biggest class I've ever had. We was like, oh, do you want to ask Loretta some questions? So some people started asking questions, and a lot of them had listened to my podcast and have since listened as well. I've got some lovely messages. And one of the ladies, we were talking, and I gave them a very, very brief of what you just asked me, gave them the tiniest version, and made it into a bit of a joke. And one of the ladies was crying.
All right.
And we had a hug, and it was just incredible. So it touches people, it gives them inspiration. I just want to inspire people to keep going, do better, you're not alone. I like to validate people. I like that.
I think it's great because in the industry, there is some cattiness. There are people talking about other people.
Yeah.
People will attack other people, and you know, what do you do? Do you defend yourself? Do you ignore it? What do you do? We've all been in that sort of situation, and it's really hard to live in a world where you're not. You just don't see it, but you seem to have managed to do that, and you're still building up your Instagram profile. You'll still have people commenting. How do you deal with do you have people commenting negatively at all on anything on Instagram? Or?
I haven't really experienced too many negative comments. I had one which I can't repeat, but it was so silly I laughed it off. I didn't take offence to it. I honestly didn't. I wouldn't say I've got a thick skin like that. I'm very sensitive, but it's not my weakness.
Yeah.
I think it's nice to be sensitive and human if someone said something horrible, but no, I've done really, really well. But I tend to stay out of drama. I'm not saying that it hasn't happened. I keep it private if it has. I'm not about bashing online, nothing. I stay well out of it. And also, I think if I get a negative comment, that's a them problem, not a me problem.
Yeah.
But I'm human, and it has some effect. I'm not going to put a face on and go, oh, it doesn't bother me, because of course it does. I don't like it. I feel sad that there are people like that in the world.
I feel sad for them though, because, like you say, that it says more about them.
Yeah.
We don't see the world as it is. We see the world how we are. And if you've got this view of just constant negativity, and you feel you have to say things,
I know,
it's
sad,
like what's the fun in that?
They must be miserable.
Yeah, it must be really hard.
Who's got time?
My daughters get embarrassed whenever I go anywhere with them, because I'll just try and make a joke at the supermarket checkout, or Dad, you're so embarrassing. And it's like, if I make somebody smile, then that's all it's about, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So,
I like to...
funny comment, anything, you know?
That's Dan, he does that. I love that. And I like to also compliment people.
Yeah.
Like, your hair looks nice, or your nails look nice. Notice things about them.
I know, but when blokes say that, people look at you really oddly.
Yeah.
Oh,
you can't get
I love
away.
your shoes. What are they? What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
And
you can just drop the jokes, and I can drop the compliments.
Exactly. That's how it goes.
But I don't like online negativity. I don't have a personal Instagram, and I don't have a personal Facebook. Although that is a lie, I do, because I have to have a Facebook page,
business,
but I don't use it. So I don't have like friends on there. I'm not even friends with friends on Facebook. They've got my number.
Yeah.
Like, talk to me, and that's what we do. We talk. You have a relationship with them, don't you? A friendship. I don't have anything, because I find it a really negative space, and I struggled with Instagram when I first started my business, because I don't like social media, but I have to have it for my business. It's fantastic for my business.
Yeah.
And I love it for my business.
That's what you've got to, you have to have it. You can dislike it all you like, but for business, you need to have a social media presence.
And you need to love it as well. Otherwise, you're not going to be good at it, and you're not going to... I love it because I tend to get myself into a headspace of this big bubble of it's only lovely people that follow me, and it's only lovely people that are watching me, and I just tell myself a story. And that's it.
The thing is, I've always said there's definitely more good in the world than bad in the world. And I don't care. That's actually an interview question I've used when I'm interviewing people for the team. And when some people say there's more bad in the world, I say, why do you say that? And it's because of what they've seen on the news.
Yeah.
And if you watch the news, you're going to see the bad stuff, because that's all the news is. And if you think that's the way the world is, but you go out of your front door, you go to the supermarket, you know, people will help you grab something off a shelf if you can't reach. There's more people. If you drop something, the majority of people pick it up and chase after you, say, sorry, you dropped this. Happened to me when I was in Copenhagen a few weeks ago. And my other half dropped a glove, and it was a guy came up, excuse me, and then gave it back to her. You know, it was freezing.
So thank goodness they did.
Yeah.
But you are absolutely right. And moving onto that subject about there's more good in the world, but people can't see it because they're just focusing on the news and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That is why I follow a mental diet.
Yeah.
I am very, very strict with a mental diet. Like some people are strict with their exercise regime or they're strict with their eating, their diets. Why can't you do that to your brain and your head? And that's the most important one, is it not?
So what do you do on your mental diet? What do you consume?
Well, there's a big thing, and it's part of the program that I run in my business program.
Okay.
Mental diet's what I teach right at the beginning. I've got a whole video on mental diet. So I won't tell you all the steps, but I'll tell you the ones that have been the most amazing for me. Is no news. I don't read magazines anymore. Any of that celebrity gossip rubbish. So nothing on the telly. My son doesn't even watch the news because I think it's really bad for him to grow up worrying about all the things that are happening in the world. Like he doesn't need to know all of that. He needs to be happy.
Yeah.
So we don't have any news on, no negative, even negative music. We try and keep it pretty standard stuff.
Yeah.
I don't follow on social media any celebrities really, or any like news channels on social media. I don't do any of that. Get fresh air. Practice gratitude.
Yeah.
There's my top 3 that are obvious, I think. But there's more.
They're obvious.
There's more to. There is a
they're
4th
obvious.
step. I think I touched on this 4th step earlier. Don't engage in negative talk. Don't talk about people behind the back. Just don't engage.
Yeah. And I think that's a big one. If people say bad about you, the best thing you can possibly do is just ignore it.
Yeah.
But sometimes in this, social world, it's very hard.
It is hard
to ignore that because you want to defend yourself. And I've been known when people have said things negatively on social media, I have been known to write a response, but it's a very well thought out, objective response. It's not anger.
Yeah.
And that's something else I try never to do is write an email in anger, save it till tomorrow. You come back and you think, oof.
Thank goodness you didn't send
Yeah,
it
exactly,
kind of thing.
exactly.
Yeah,
So,
you need to not respond emotionally.
Yeah.
Respond carefully. That is a big life lesson, that one.
Yeah.
I've done that when I was younger, reacted to things.
I've had road rage when I was younger, and I realised that I don't know, a woman cut me up or something, I can't remember.
Of course.
And so I chased after her, and my wife and, did I have kids at the time? I can't remember. Chased after her, pulling up beside her at red traffic lights. She went through the red traffic lights. She could have been killed. And I just thought that was stupid and pointless.
Yeah.
So
it's such a pointless a waste of energy.
if you see me in the car now, I
don't go near you.
I'm just saying, no, I'm just chilled. It's an automatic car, and you've got one for go, one for stop.
It's a go-kart.
And it's just easy, And so,
yeah, but you learn as you grow. You learn not to be like that.
I know.
Waste that energy.
But it's very easy to just, what I've learned is that you can have an emotion, but you don't need to react to that emotion. So it's how you react to that emotion that makes you who you are.
Process it properly as well. I think it's like we're always continuously swallowing our emotions. I don't think that's healthy. If you need to cry, cry.
Oh God.
Go and cry. Do the emotion. Deal with it, but anger's the hardest one.
Well, I'm a fan of that because I call it I wallow sometimes. So if I wake up and I'm in a bad mood for whatever reason, I'll still come into work. Sometimes I might not come into work, go for a walk or something.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll come into work, and if I'm in a bad mood, I'll shut the door of my office. The rule is if my door's shut, the door's shut. And I just wallow in it, and I'm like, with myself.
Yeah.
And I don't want to bother anybody else. I don't want to be, interacting with anybody else, but I just wallow. I don't enjoy the sensation, but and what I tell myself is, this is not you. This is a temporary state. You're going to get through it.
Yeah.
So just wallow for as long as it takes you to wallow, and then you'll come out of it. And I do. And I normally within 3 hours, I'm back to this, which is my normal state of and I think it takes years being able to understand that. We're talking, this conversation's gone very deep.
It has. I like it. I like
but
a deep
I
conversation.
was talking to somebody in the warehouse the other day about, I'm not religious, but
No.
I've read a book on Buddhism. It was about that thick, a tiny little book. And apparently we all have 82 problems. So people that are delaying happiness until they have the wife, the husband, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the house, the car, the money, the whatever. I'll be happy when I have the house. I'll be happy when I've got the car. I'll be happy when I have the job, the money, the salary, like I say, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the husband, the wife. And then they get it and it's like, why am I not happy? It's because we all have 82 problems. And if one of those problems is, I don't have the house I want, okay, we'll work towards it. But if 82 of your problems, one of them is you've got a broken nail, be thankful for that broken nail because that's one of your 82 problems. And what happens is that you get rid of one problem, another one just replaces it. So if you're living life waiting for it to have no problems in it at all, then you're never going to live your life. So you've got to be accepting of those problems and just live life as like, okay, yeah, I've got a broken nail. Okay, yeah, my girlfriend finished with me. Or whatever. And just enjoy the moment, enjoy life for what it is.
I can't believe you just said that.
Why?
Because as part of my business coaching, I have made a video of This Will Change Your Life.
Okay.
And it's about don't wen your life away. Literally what you were just saying. It's a really good video of me just like really breaking down how we all wen our life away.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So when I've had my first sold out course, I'll be happy. When I go on BMTV, that's it, life's made. Well, it is, you know what I mean?
Well,
but
obviously.
when I get that £100, £1,000 job, I don't know, whatever it is, but you never are.
Yeah.
Right? Like you just said, you can decide to be happy. So I've even got some advice for you right there with the wallowing in it for 3 hours. You've learned that that's what you do, but you can decide to change that.
Yeah.
You can decide to go, actually, no, I'm going to be happy today.
Absolutely.
Can't we?
And I do sometimes.
I'm not doing it. And that's it.
You know, generally it's just chocolate.
Yeah,
that's all I need.
Chocolate, bit of sugar. You know, don't get me wrong. I get hangry.
Yeah.
Hangry. Feed me and I'm happy. But yeah, I'd done a video just like that. So I love that you have said it because that's a bit of me. Don't wen your life away because I wenned my life away for years. And then that happened to us and everything happens for a reason. That happened to ground me and give me a purpose. Even though I thought I had a purpose, I was running an amazing nails business in magazines, red carpets, TV, whatever. I was there doing it. Celebrity. Now, in this job, I couldn't care less if I'd done no celebrities. I just want to make an impact on everyday people's lives.
Yeah. That's what I think about as well sometimes. When people have told me that my business and my life is because of BMTV, and there's been people that have actually said that, you know, I started my business in balloons because of BMTV, so thank you. And they've made it really, and that makes me feel really good. Yeah, absolutely, really good.
So amazing. You did that.
I could talk to you forever, but it is getting, we are getting on a bit, and I think we're going to have to call it a day. You're going to have to come back and have another chat or podcast or something.
Yeah, let's do a podcast together because I want you on my podcast.
Okay, all right. That's a done
deal. Let's do it.
Anyway, Loretta,
thank
you so much for that. I really enjoyed that chat. I do feel we could just carry on talking for hours and hours and hours. But I'm really inspired by you. I think it's amazing what you've done in the short period you've been in the industry. And I wish you all the best in the future with whatever it is you've got planned that you don't want to talk about, that I'm sure it will be an absolute success. But
hopefully I'll be able to come on here and share with you those things if I can make them happen.
Absolutely. Well, the thing is, if you don't make them happen, you've tried making them happen and you'll move on to something else. But you're going to make it happen.
We'll make it happen.
You're going to make it happen.
Positive attitude.
Don't worry, it's going to be excellent.
Yeah. So, you know, I normally give you a hug without me sitting on the sofa. I'm going to thank you for today. I've had a lovely chat.
Well, I've really enjoyed it as well. So
thank
you for coming on. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, you know what to do. And hit the little bell icon and you'll be notified when we upload a new show. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on TikTok. And from both of us here on the sofa, look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.
Thanks, bye.